I spoke to you about this last meeting. This approves the holiday calendar for the year. It adds in the 2 additional half-day holidays that are normally approved by the board. And then the bigger change is the floating holiday that normally was, this past year, or current year, was earmarked for Good Friday. It could still be utilized for Good Friday, or it could be utilized for another occasion. So we're trying to just adopt the calendar up front so that everybody knows what we're doing for the year. I stand for questions.
Thank you. No discussion? Cast your vote.
Oh, wait a minute, I got a question. So we're not, so it's going to be a floater holiday, not for Good Friday, right?
You could utilize it for Good Friday,
But
it
we're not
wouldn't-
recognizing Good Friday as a holiday.
Officially, no, it's a floating holiday.
Okay.
Okay. Any more discussion?
I remove my motion.
Okay, motion to approve.
Okay. Thank you.
Madam Chairman, for clarification, this is Resolution 23-42.
Right. That's right. So it's a resolution for
Okay.
R2342.
So we have a motion and we have a second.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to figure out what just happened.
Madam Chair, I neglected to remember that we are not designating Good Friday as a holiday, and I'm not in support of that. So that's why I wanted to pull my motion.
So moved.
Okay, since we're in discussion, I just want to say one thing. I celebrate Good Friday. I think since we can have it as a floating holiday, that makes sense to me. For those who, like me, would want to celebrate Good Friday, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of trying to make every holiday, if we're going to be, fair in this matter, a holiday for everyone to be off and recognize everything. Obviously, there's so many things that people in our community would like to recognize. So I think, as has been suggested before, holidays that happen to be Christian holidays but also are celebrated by a wide variety of people make sense to have as a holiday for the county. Otherwise, I think holidays that floating holidays are appropriate. That's just what I wanted to state on this. I support it. That's it.
Do we have any more discussion?
So I just had a quick question, and Mr. Vosberg, I don't remember, has it been the last 2 or 3 years that we've recognized Good Friday as a holiday? So it's the last 2 years. Is there any amenability of the board to maybe, I'm just trying to split hairs here, to allow Good Friday to be a holiday, and as we have the last 2 years, and do the 2 floating holidays? So anybody of any other religion could then utilize those 2 floating holidays to practice or to take off work and celebrate their holidays as they would so choose. So I'm just going to throw that out there to see if the board would be amenable to that.
Madam Chair,
Supervisor Allen?
yeah, as I said last meeting, right, I believe this was broached then. I trust the acumen of the county administrator to know what his staff wants, and obviously, I'm guessing there was feedback, and if he feels this is best for his staff, then I'm not gonna question that. That's the latitude that we give him. So that's one. And two, as Supervisor Gary noted, not everyone celebrates Good Friday, and giving people the option to, it's not like if you're not gonna be able to celebrate it, but specifically earmarking something versus giving people the option, I'm not necessarily in favor for. I celebrate Good Friday, so it's not to say I don't, but obviously, as I said, I trust his acumen, his staff gave him feedback, I'm pretty sure, and if this is what's best for his organization, then I'm going to defer to him.
Madam Chair,
Supervisor Bumpkin?
unless there's someone else that would like to speak, because I've already had a chance. Is there anybody else?
Go ahead. I would, but go ahead.
I appreciate everybody's thoughts, but I have I think that it's appropriate for us to remember that while Mr. Vosberg is our county administrator, he brings this to us and we set the policy. And I just would like to know What, if you looked over the last 15 years, what would our HR department have indicated that how we have treated Good Friday?
I don't have a 15-year
I see,
history. We can probably add to that. I know that we typically follow the state calendar, which does not have Good Friday on. Our board did add it for the last 2 years. And so when we got, nope, go ahead. 1 year? 1 year.
No, we've definitely done it 2 years.
I just asked.
It's only one.
Yeah. So our policy right now, and just for clarification, we're not asking for a policy change. We're just asking for an adoption of this current year calendar. So if we want to look at the policy, we'd have to, kind of do that separately. But we do follow the state calendar, and that's within the policy. So whatever the state has as holidays is what we follow.
Okay.
So when we looked at it this year, it was an extra authorization for the board to put Good Friday on. So we didn't collect data on who prefers it off or who doesn't. We simply put forward that that could be a floating holiday, so those people that would like to observe Good Friday could, and those that wanted to put it, maybe it was primary day because that's not on the calendar, you could utilize that day for primary day. So we just left the options open.
Madam Chair,
Supervisor Gary?
that's my name. I find it interesting that we're in this very long-winded discussion about Good Friday when I know that there are a lot of Christians who don't even know what Good Friday is, and I know that from being in ministry for over a decade now. So it seems like kind of splitting hairs in the wrong way. I think if we're going so far as to have county holidays for days that are relatively obscure for even many people of that faith, we should definitely acknowledge others. I would be okay keeping Good Friday on if we're going to put Eid on as well. For me, it's about being even-handed. So, I mean, that's just where I'm at. Otherwise, I think floating holiday is good. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion on the floor, and we have a second.
Did somebody make a motion?
Yeah.
Oh, and then who's the new second once?
Mr.
Okay, got it.
Cohen. Okay, for R 2342. And can we just go ahead and cast our vote?
I'll make a substitute motion to go with an additional day off for staff, still recognizing Good Friday, and keeping the 2 floating holidays on the calendar.
Do you have a second for that?
Second? Oh, go ahead, Darrell.
Second.
Madam Chairman, can we please have a clarification of the motion? Currently, there are no floating holidays on the county's calendar. So are you asking for 2 floating
So
holidays?
the 2 floating holidays that are in,
There's 1 floating holiday in the current resolution before you.
oh, I thought Mr. Vosberg said there were 2.
There were 2 half-days that we talked about, but then the 1 floating holiday.
Oh, okay, okay. So then I'll keep with your proposal of the 1 floating holiday and then the additional day, which would be a day off of Good Friday.
Wait,
And,
So you were,
so you're asking for an additional day off?
well, technically, yes.
Okay, just. Well, can we clear the votes?
let's just go ahead and, no, this is a second motion. This is a second motion. We're going to vote on this one first.
No, but we started the vote when she asked for the motion, so I don't want to.
He did clear it. When he cleared the system, it cleared.
Okay? Go ahead. We're voting on
And then,
the
yeah.
amendment.
We're voting on your
And do you want any discussion on this
here.
one?
No, I think,
Make sure you put
no,
that.
I think this proper, I think we need to do, like you said, your second motion, the Good Friday be the holiday.
Okay, we're voting on this, the last one.
Discussion?
You have a discussion? You still?
I just want to say this ahead of time before we vote because I need to be very clear on why I'm not supporting this. It's that I have a serious issue with politicizing religion. I don't think that it's fair to give off a day that is a Christian holiday, but also happens to be very obscure and not widely celebrated, and then not give off days for other folks of other religions when we have a very diverse community. So for me, I will not be supporting this, and that is the reason why.
Okay, please cast your vote. Motion fails, 4-3. We're going back to the primary motion that we had, which is R 2342. We already had discussion. Please cast your vote. Passes 4-3.